So we are reviewing exponent rules. We've done this a couple times before, so this is a quick review just to jog your memories on what we're doing. So over here it says exponents. We've got a to the x power. A is called the
coefficient.
Base.
Yeah.
Coefficient would be a number in front of that, which we don't have. X is called the exponent. So that's just a little bit of vocabulary. All right, so going through negative exponents. To get rid of a negative exponent, you find the reciprocal of the base. So for example, if I have x to the negative 2, I do 1 over x squared. You do not leave any negatives in the final answer. It does not make it negative, it just flips it over. So if the negative exponent's in the denominator, you move it to the numerator and vice versa, which I don't have on there, but you can do it either way. So if I have x here and y to the negative third there, this actually comes up to the top, and you get x, y to the third, and then there would just be 1 left in the denominator, so you can leave that off. So that is the review of negative exponents. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this left-hand side. All right, product of powers. When multiplying two bases that are the same, you add the exponents. So for example, if I have x to the 9th, x to the 6th, x to the 2nd, you're going to add 9 and 6, which is 15, plus 2 is 17, x to the 17th power. And this works with negative exponents and 0. Also, you just add them across. But they have to have the same base, so these would all have to be x in order to put them together. Which leads us over to power of a power. When raising a power to another power, you multiply the exponents. So if I have x to the squared to the 5th, that is x to the 10th. And the reason for that would be, if you wrote it out, it would be x squared times x squared times x squared times x squared times x squared. And then you'd add 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 to get 10. So basically this is just a shortcut for knowing how the product of powers work. All right, let's go over to the right-hand side to 0 exponents. Any non-zero number raised to the 0 power is equal to 1. So if I have 2x and it's all in parentheses, all raised to the 0 power, the answer is 1. 5 to the 0 power is 1. The only thing I will say is if you have like something like negative 3 to the 0 and the negative is not in parentheses, that'll make it negative because only this part would change to 1. That's the only thing people seem to struggle with, but if I put it in parentheses, then it would just be 1. All right, quotient of powers. When dividing two bases that are the same, you subtract the exponents. So here's your example. X to the 5th over x squared comes out x to the 3rd, because 5 minus 2 is 3. If you end up with a negative, then you would flip it. So just to give you an example of that, if I had x over x to the 4th, I would have x to the 1 minus 4 power, which is negative 3. I'd make it 1 over x to the 3rd. So if you do end up with a negative power, remember you have to flip it. All right, and then we just get down to some grouping things down here. To find the power of a product, you distribute the exponent. So for example, on this one, I would have 2 to the 3rd, x to the 2 times 3, and y to the 5 times 3, using the rule that we came up with up here. So 2 to the 3rd is 2 times 2 times 2, so that's 8. X to the 6th, y to the 15th, so if it's on the outside, you just raise everything in there to that power. And then in the very last box, we have to find the power of a quotient. You also distribute the exponent. So for this one, everything in here is going to get squared. So I would have, I'll do this over here, 5 squared, x to the 4 times 2, 2 times to the 2nd, y to the second. So I'd end up with 25 x to the 8th over 4y squared. And you'd also want to check to make sure that your fractions don't reduce.